Hi everyone, Tori here with another scrapbooking process video called Faster Mommy. And today I'm starting off with two photos of one of my good friend Andrea's daughters, Genevieve and Heidelise, riding in a sleigh. And I'm also going to be using this wood veneer frame that came in this Studio Calico Cirque scrapbooking kit. And I'm also going to be using red paint from Studio Calico's Color Theory, and it's called Well Red. So I really wanted to use this wood veneer frame, but I felt like it was so big that it was going to take up a big part on the layout, so I wanted to try to find a way to incorporate it into a layout. And I was looking at these two photos of the girls riding in the sleigh, or toboggan, or sled, or however you say it. And I love that red sleigh. And I was thinking that that wood veneer could actually look like a really cool sleigh. So I thought, why don't I paint it and put it on there? But the square frame of it looked too square to me. So I decided to cut it down, and I cut one row off of each side so it was more of a rounded side and more smooth, and then from there I'm going to paint it and make it look just like the sleigh that the girls are riding in. So I am using paint from Studio Calico. It's the Color Theory color paint, and it's called Well Red, which is a really adorable name for a paint, and I'm going to link that below if you're interested. But it actually covered the wood veneer really well, and I really just did one coat all over, and then I touched up a couple areas that I had missed. And I love that that red that is in that color matches the sleigh that the girls are riding in perfectly, and it sort of draws that aspect of the photos out really well. And I'm going to end up layering those photos on top of this red wood veneer sleigh that I'm making here. So a little bit about the photos. I already mentioned that this is my good friend's daughters, Genevieve and Heidelise, and we went for a sort of treat for the girls. We had breakfast with Santa at this local campground, and then afterwards we went and rode horses, which I already made a layout about that, and then we walked back to the car, but we walked back to the car and the girls rode in the sleigh, and they were laughing and giggling, and it was so cute that I just had to capture it. And I love that in that one photo, Heidelise, the youngest, has her head like all the way back. She's laughing so hard. You can't see it that great here, but when I show the close-ups, you'll be able to see it there. So I'm using this great pattern paper that came from the Flying Trapeze add-on this month at Studio Calico, and it has like light pink background with arrows on it. It's really pretty, and it also has some like distress paint splatters in each of the corners, but I wanted to add some more, and I thought it would be fun to add some more distress splatters in the same color that I had painted the wood veneer sleigh that I just made. So what I did was I grabbed a little bit of water, and I grabbed a little bit of that paint that I had just used, and I watered it down a lot, and got a lot of water in there, and just mixed it up so that it was really watery. And then what I'm going to do is sort of just splatter that on two of the corners. It was pretty intense, so I just dabbed off some of the color after I'd left the pigment, but I kept it pretty much there. And now I'm going to start layering up the different embellishments and photos and that big red sleigh on the page. And I was trying to decide which way I wanted the sleigh to face. Did I want it to be horizontal, vertical, askew? And in the end I decided to go up and down because it fit right in that middle spot, and I love the way that the photos look layered on top of that. Now I felt like the sleigh needed something behind it just to help it stand out from the background a little bit more. So I grabbed some vellum and just layer that underneath. And then I used my scissors to cut around it to make sure that it's perfectly lined up. And that actually looks really good. It helps sort of give it this glowy look on top of the paper. So I decide, well, I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to glue it down, and then I can build the rest of my embellishments and layer my photos and all my other things on this page around it. Now, I was looking at those photos and I noticed that there was something about the sleigh in the photo that wasn't really translating to the page. And when I was looking at it, I realized that it was the fact that the sleigh had ropes that my friend Andrea was pulling. So I thought, how cool would it be if I could create something similar on my page? So I grabbed some white embroidery floss that I had in my stash, and I layered it up 5 or 6 times, and I wrapped that around the top of my red sleigh to sort of mimic the ropes that were in the photo of the girls on the sleigh. And I love this effect. I love how it sort of helps you determine that this redwood veneer is not just a design piece, but that it's like a sleigh on the background, just like the ones that the girls are riding in. And if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll notice that I like to have a central theme or thing that sort of draws your attention to where the most important thing is. And for this page, it's this big red sleigh, which immediately draws your eyes in and draws your eyes to the photos and what's going on in the photos. And I really love the way that it turns out in the end. It was sort of fun to do too. So now I'm going to grab my photos and map them on some paper, which is totally me, and layer them a couple times. And I'm going to layer them on some white cardstock, some XOXO paper from one of the Studio Calico add-ons, and also this like plus sign paper that came in the add-on paper pack or paper pad this month. I'm really going to speed that up just because it took me a while to do that and decide how many layers I wanted to put under it. But lately I feel like I've been wanting to add a lot of layers under my photo. I think it's because some of the people who inspire me also add many layers under their photos, and it always looks so good to me. So I've been trying to work on my layering by just adding more and more and more behind it and then scrunching it up. And I do like the way that it turns out. I think it looks really good on the photos and draws your attention into the photos, especially since there's a lot of white in the photos. A darker background around the photos helps to make that white pop, and also the red of the sleigh. So once I've added 4 or 5 layers under each photo, I'm going to place the photos on the sleigh or on the layout where I want them, and I'm just going to stick them down. I'm going to commit to a placement, stick them down with some hot glue gun, and then add embellishments. So funny to me that in real life I can't make decisions, but I feel like in scrapbooking I can make decisions so much faster. So funny to me that that's the case. Anyways, I'm going to begin embellishing. And I'm going to start with these Ashley G rub-ons that I got at last call from Studio Calico. And I'm just going to add some of those in the 2 parts of the layout with the splatters. And I love how that just brings some gold touches to that splatters. And the splatters from the rub-ons actually look like regular splatters too. And I end up just using the rest of that pack on there. I'm going to have to order more because it's just so pretty. Next, I grab this really pretty pink alpha so that I can do my title. And my title is going to be Faster Mummy, Faster Please. That's something I heard the little girls saying as they were riding in the sleigh. And this beautiful pink tiny alpha actually comes from the Cirque scrapbooking kit this month. And that's from Studio Calico. And I really love the color and the height of the little tiny letters. And so I put them in that space that's left from the rope of my sleigh. But I've also sort of put them a little wonky. I didn't want them to be perfect. I knew that there was no way I'd be able to line them up straight, so I figured might as well just go with it and make it crazy wonky. So I was looking at this wood veneer sleigh and thinking I wanted to add some more wood veneer to the layout. So I grabbed these nesting hearts that came in the kit this month, the Cirque card kit from Studio Calico, and I'm going to lay those in 3 places along the layout using that rule of thirds that I never really understand, but apparently it's a rule. And I'm going to create sort of 3 groups of them, and I think it draws your eyes around the page. And in the top one that you're seeing me do right now, I end up using 3 of those wood veneer pieces and sort of letting them nest together just because I like how it looks there. If you've been watching any of my other Cirque kit process videos, you've probably seen me try to use these hearts over and over and over again. I just haven't been able to make them work, but I love the way they actually end up on this page. I'm really happy with it, and I'm glad I used them. Sorry. The next thing that I'm going to do is add some of my favorite sentiment strips that I am really enjoying using this month, and I'm going to end up using a ton of them all around the page just to add some fun embellishments, but also some fun phrases. These came from the scrapbooking kit, and they have the best phrases on them. So I'm going to sort of layer those in 3 different areas around my red sleigh. And just to let you know what some of them say, it says, "Oh, happy day," "Up to no good," "It's the little things," "Best day ever," "You are the cat's pajamas," and "The stories we love best do live in us forever." J.K. Rowling. So I just love how those little phrases look. And I'm going to end up putting 2 in the top left corner of the sleigh, and then 1 on the right hand side, and then 3 at the bottom again. I loosely glued those down with my hot glue gun, like put a little dab in the middle and let the corners pop up, just because I like that layering and dimension that it adds, that they're not flat on the page. And then when I was done with that, I was sort of feeling like my clusters of sprinkling and dots was looking sort of boring, and I really wanted to embellish those and add to those. So I'm going to end up using a whole bunch of different embellishments sort of in those areas, like floating along the page from that bottom left hand corner of splattering to that top right hand corner of splattering. I love how that just adds some more dimension and interest there. And if you're wondering, I use some puffy stickers that came in the kits. I used those pink and gold heart chipboard pieces. I also used a couple of enamel dots, some gold ones and some pink ones that came in the flying trapeze add-on. And then I'll just finish with my journaling. It's the little things like riding in a sled back to the car after riding horses. It's the little things like 2 little girls giggling as they go over the bumps. I love seeing their head thrown back with laughter and joy. I love this. Anyways, that's it for the page. Thanks everyone for joining me today. It was a really fun one to share with you. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye!